In Kosovo, coalition forces used 31,000 depleted uranium shells, and the radiation lingers to this day. In the first Gulf War, over 300 tons of depleted uranium rained down on Iraq, but little of it was used outside the battlefield. But the second Gulf War was different. In just 3 weeks, over 1,000 tons of DU was used extensively and deliberately in highly populated civilian areas. Areas like Fallujah and, of course, Baghdad itself. According to local sources, cancer rates in the Iraqi province of Babil alone jumped tenfold in just 3 years' time. Not surprisingly, it was Al Jazeera that broke that story.
This young mother was diagnosed with lung cancer. With no family history of the disease, cancer is a stranger in her home.
This is our life, and this is our environment. All have been polluted by the war. I am 23 and I have cancer, though I am the only one to be infected in my family history. I wish I could become better for the sake of my children. If I die, who is going to take care of my children?
Well, the US military says that in 1990 report on DU hazards is now obsolete. Instead, the military cites a World Health Organization report which says that there is no public danger from depleted uranium. But according to Keith Baverstock, a scientist who helped prepare that paper, crucial pieces of data were written out of the final draft. Baverstock says that the US Department of Defense itself found that DU dust, when inhaled, greatly increases the risk of leukemia, especially in children. That bit of information never made it to the final paper. When asked why, Baverstock replied,
"It is naive to think that in institutions like the United Nations, one is free from political influences. The member states have their own agendas."
The WHO, for its part, says the article was not approved for publication because parts of it did not reflect accurately what the WHO considers the best science in the area of depleted uranium.
In effect, they're saying that the army's own research just isn't good enough. And while the current Iraqi government is mum, the previous one did complain about the increased leukemia rates. And now the situation is such that not only is the US refusing to clean up the irradiated mess it left behind, it won't even reveal where and how much DU was used in the first place. But amid all the doublespeak and contradictions, it was Sky News that focused on the real tragedy. The plight of the children of Fallujah, the town that had seen the heaviest depleted uranium bombardment during the Second Gulf War.
Barely able to breathe, yet Fatima Ahmed spoke for a city. Sky News told the story of the baby born with 2 heads in May last year. Her mother Shakriya pleaded for help. Why was her child one of an increasing number born with deformities since the war like this?
But awareness and outrage over this genotoxic weapon is growing, thanks in no small part to those scientists and researchers who have refused to bow to pressure and toe the official line. And one of those people is Dr. Christopher Busby, a UK physicist who has worked in the field in both Kosovo and Iraq. And he'll be joining us right after this break.